Client spotlight tonight. I'm really excited. We're here with Joel Anderson. Joel's got an awesome transformation story. I'll post up pictures. A lot of you guys have seen them. Joel and I have worked kind of off and on where, we had a friend relationship where he maybe, would message, hey, what do you think I should do about this? But he's been at it for a while, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But yeah, he actually went on stage. He was shredded. He went from his before and after of where he started to where he made it. And not only that, keeping it off. But Joel, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Question meaning like where were you at before we ever really spoke?
Back then, it was just, I was the type of person. It was just food, food, food. It was, I love food. That's, my palate. So just kind of going around, I'd always still work out, you'd listen to everything across the, audio or the internet or everything else everybody has to say out there. And, I was kind of going in and just really working out, but still feeding the mouth. And it was just, you continuously, build up and do things like that. But, I just wanted to eat and I just wanted to work out. And I just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, Yeah, I was gaining muscle. Yeah, I was gaining strength. Yeah, things were, great on, hitting max outs and things like that. But that's not ultimately where I wanted to go. Lived a good life to do all the things that I did, but I really wanted to develop a show,
Yeah.
And I kept on going, to a different trainer, to another trainer, being left out, or, like you would sit there, send this thing, and then this guy would tell you one thing, or, you'd get with this guy and this guy would send you off over here because, oh, we're only doing show clients. And at that point in time, it was like I was nowhere near a show or anything like that. I just wanted help.
Yeah.
And
I remember you telling me some of those stories, and it's, I almost got frustrated. I got frustrated for you because you're just like, like if you're going to take on a client, just take on the client and, follow up and finish what you do,
right,
but yeah, it's interesting of kind of where the industry is kind of going with that.
right. It takes a big search, and once you find that person, you're home.
Yeah. What was your heaviest?
Heaviest weight was 253.
253. And
250,
what did you finally weigh in at when we went on stage?
174.2.
73. Yeah. So that was a big deal. Now, again, that was a time frame, right? That was, you really did a bunch of stuff with some other people. You did a bunch of stuff on your own. Actually, you probably did a ton of it on your own. I remember when we were kind of talking, I just kind of said, hey, just go do this, and this, and you'd kind of check in and you'd do it. And it was just kind of neat because I'm, I've got all different levels of like where I'm going to get involved with people, but I just got to the point. Yeah. I mean, we obviously hit it off. We were friends from the beginning, and it's like, and that's kind of the thing, because you were helping people yourself because you're like, look, I know I can help this person. All it is information, you can give it and give it and give it. And it's not like we have to charge all the time and be just these robots, but then it was, when you really, really, really wanted to get started, it was okay. I'm hiring you. You tell me what to do. And it was okay. Then it was on, but I will say you did a ton of it on your own.
Well, I appreciate that. There's a lot of background, like, and knowledge on some of that, but
Yeah.
I did know it all. And, I don't feel like the other coaches knew it all. And, it's a lot of learning. And,
Yeah.
you start gaining things and things keep on coming in sync, and then you see your body going this way. But, there's other things that other people have, you get stuck. And, there's a lot of other things where people know how to get around different things. And, that definitely helps out.
What was probably in that process from where you started till the time you hit stage and kind of in between there, what was probably the biggest thing that you learned about yourself?
You know, just if you really want something, you can really, really do it if you put your mind to it. biggest things is I know I can do this is the biggest thing. I mean, I went on that cruise and I mean, being able to go on that cruise and go on a, 13-day stretch, not even I mean, less than a month out from show and still be able to, maintain that and do the things I did. That's the willpower I had is probably
Yeah,
the biggest
yeah,
thing.
we communicated a ton on that. It was kind of, yeah, that was always fun. You're actually the second athlete I've ever had go on a cruise during prep. And most of you guys listening are like, oh my gosh, I can't. I'm like, look, why not? Like I always tell my athletes, I go, do it and make it look easy.
Right.
Do it and make it look easy. Most athletes, if you ever talk to them, you say, hey Bob, how's it going? And oh God, let me tell you, my carbs. You're like, dude, I wait, time out. I was just saying hi. I don't want to know.
Right.
Sorry. They just kind of start just verbal vomiting all over, and you're like, wait, time out. Like I know you're in. It's like we are choosing to do show prep. It's not like someone's forcing us to do it. It's like, no, do it and make it look easy. It's like, and that was something you did. Again, I mean, you went on a cruise literally, and it was, what do I get to eat? I mean, and we just found ways. I mean, which is a testament to yourself. It's a testament to lifestyle clients. It doesn't matter where you go. We can make healthy choices. We can make choices that fit into our lifestyles,
Right.
no matter what we do. And it's not like you didn't have some form of cheat meals either. It's like there's times our body just, we don't have to be as strict as possible. And half the time it's our body needs it. So that's awesome. I'm very, very glad you actually mentioned that.
And I think that, to what you just said, that's another big thing would be you don't have to just eat at home and prep all the time. You can go out and enjoy the world and the things. And that's probably another big knowledgeable piece that I picked up on is I eat so many things out there. People are like, what are you eating? How are you doing this? And it's like, once you retain and you start focusing on the things that you can have, you can go out there and enjoy life.
Oh, I've had show preps where, man, I went to Mexican food almost every other week. I'd have fajitas or whatever. It's like,
Right.
I just chose, because I mean, with the family and stuff, I didn't want that to suffer and have to sacrifice all of that time. So no, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's everybody thinks like, this has to be, the grind. It has to be terrible. It has to be, this like, masochist type thing where it's like, it must be punishment. And,
Right.
you just have to embrace the pain. And you're like, oh, like time out. Like there's a part of that, yes, is true, but there's also, it's kind of like, all right, like, come on, Rambo, let's back this up a little bit. That's pretty cool. Let me ask you this. Let's say you bump into somebody similar situation, maybe where you started, because I know you've helped people in the past, right?
Right.
Uh, you've actually given plans and done stuff like that and kind of walked people through, it's like, if one man can, so can somebody else. What would you give advice? Somebody's listening right now, they're stuck. Maybe they don't know what direction to go in. Like I was giving an analogy earlier today on a video about like, that deer in the headlights. It's like, that deer jumps out in the street and it doesn't go left, it doesn't go right, it doesn't go forward, it doesn't go backwards, it just stops. It's confused. That's what humans do.
Right.
We just there's every book under the sun, there's every podcast, there's a documentary on, you know, gladiators were vegans and blah blah blah. So we hear all this stuff, and it's like, so people just don't do anything, they just freeze.
Right.
Like, what advice would you give somebody?
Biggest thing I'd give is, most people want to sit there and think that all this is done in the gym. My biggest advice is, it's about food. It's about how you eat. It's about proportions. So, really ask them the questions of what they're eating, how they're eating, and things like that to really understand where they're at. Everybody thinks you have to be in the gym, you have to be pounding the weights, and it all comes off on a treadmill and all those things. Yeah, that helps. But how you eat and your proportion size, one of the biggest things I took on was intermittent fasting over the last 2 years of how they're eating, what they're eating when they go to bed, and things like that. I would just preach on the advice on that of when to shut your systems down and
Yeah, you were very diligent with that. Like, yeah, I just had a client lose 53 pounds in 6 months and never stepped foot in a gym once.
Right.
There was no gym involved, but yeah, that is absolutely spot on. Joel, it's always fun, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
Always good. I some of those pictures that we posted, and all of the feedback that I got back, and everybody's like, how did he really, because everybody's always like, how did he really do it? I'm like, well, what do you mean, how did he really do it? Like, is there a surgeon that he went to? Is there is there,
Right.
is it photoshopped? I'm like, no, dude, the guy did, but everybody wants to know, like, okay, like, what's the real secret? I'm like, well, he had a plan, he worked his ass off, and the plan worked. And he literally just worked his plan, to the T, and so it's always awesome seeing people take away excuses and getting those results that you did. So I appreciate you, buddy. You've definitely changed some lives.
Well, couldn't have done it without you and the teamwork that we got and the people, the family and everything like that. So it comes as a group and all the support. So I thank you.
Heck yeah, buddy. Take care, man.
Thanks, brother. Usual.